Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another story that's very familiar to Hoyoverse games, and that story, that theme, is going to be focused on, well, you probably guessed it from the title and the thumbnail, plagiarism. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Hoyoverse, the company that's known for copying pretty much what every other company does in the space in some of the most uncreative ways possible. This is actually a video from a year ago where you can see all of the various inspirations Hoyoverse is taking with some designs, right? You see Bailu over here, and then another character that looks a lot like Bailu over there. Same with like Herta, that whole situation. And then you can kind of see how the character designs, right? You got units from Alchemy Stars over here, then the ZZZ Bellabog cast. Yeah, that's not looking too good, is it? And apparently there's been another instance of this occurring over here, but it's not with character designs, it's not with like poses, it's not with splash arts, but it's with actual game modes. Well, through the story, and of course, in the minigames in the game. And I've had my attention drawn to this by some individuals on Twitter who decided to tag me. Yo, say I have something you can cover next. ZZZ devs caught stealing from indie devs. So let's go ahead. Let's break this all down. Because when a multi-billion-dollar company steals something, right, from like another company that also makes millions of dollars, people typically don't tend to care that much, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, the rich are stealing from the rich. Why do I, a poor person, give a fuck? Fair to say, right? But when you have a situation where the multi-billion-dollar company is stealing from a guy who's also poor as well, that's a reverse Robin Hood, right? People aren't going to be very happy to hear about that one. So let's go ahead. Let's start breaking it all down. All right, so first things first. Last year, from Michael Cam, Oros out now. I assume Oros is the name of his game. Last year, miHoYo copied my puzzle game Oros in Zenless Zone Zero. Because they are a recognized billion-dollar studio and my game isn't well known, some people are now assuming that their version is the original and mine is the clone. So, first things first, there's a couple of things that we need to unpack over here. Michael Cam, don't worry. Karma exists. The karmic gods are out there. Because while Zenless Zone Zero might have done a bit of an ouchie, a bit of a boo-boo, by going ahead and stealing your product and just putting it into the game, putting it into their game one for one, the consequences for this company have already been faced. Brother, this is the viewership for their most newly recently released character, the new S-Rank Billy. Do you want to know what the viewership has been looking like for this game across the past 48? You can see over here, it's fluctuating quite a bit, but it has a very comfortable average of around, well, sub 1,000 viewers, regularly hitting double digits, so on and so forth. So, while they might have stolen this way back in, like, version 2.0, don't worry, dude. They are already facing the consequences for it. So there's not really too much you need to do over here. Just let miHoYo keep running the ship as usual, and they will bring this shit to fucking ground zero immediately. So, no real concerns about, like ZZZ's part in this. They're fucked. But now let's read the more, well, shitty part again. Because they're a recognized billion-dollar studio and my game isn't well known, some people are now assuming that their version is the original and mine is the clone. So, why don't we go ahead and see just how similar these two things are? Just from this gameplay demonstration over here with some commentary as well from the Oros community.
I saw some comments recently saying I copied a miHoYo minigame, and I feel like I need to clear this up because they actually copied me.
And this is the issue. I don't even think that this dude would have made this call out or made this video if the Hoyo community wasn't so fucking toxic. Because they copied him, and now the Hoyoverse players, who of course believe that miHoYo, Darway, invented everything, and that Hoyo has only had original thoughts their entire fucking life, right? Hoyo's never done anything that could even be construed as slightly similar to another company, right? They would never dream of doing that, especially in like their cinematics and stuff like that and all of their PVs. Never, right? Because these Hoyoverse players have disillusioned themselves with the idea that Hoyoverse is perfect no matter what they do and they're always in the right no matter what they do, then now it becomes an attack on the people that Hoyo has already actually just wronged. And that's why he's likely making this response. I feel like if the Hoyo community doesn't harass him, doesn't accuse him of plagiarizing Hoyo, doesn't accuse him of all these other things that you can see in the comments over here, I don't think he makes this clip. And the funny thing is, brother, this thing is going viral. Brother, this thing got posted on a day ago. Like, literally, like, about 24 hours ago. This is literally 24 hours and 30 minutes ago. 1.7 million views, 44k likes, 4.6k bookmarks, 6.2k retweets, so on and so forth. Oh, Hoyo community, you kind of fucked up with this one, didn't you? Anyways, let's keep listening.
This is my game Oros. It's a puzzle game where you bend and stretch a loop so the orb can hit the targets in order.
Also, just a fair warning in advance, I hate this game. If you want to know how much I hate this game, you can just watch me play it in ZZZ so you can see firsthand how much I hate it. Let me get a good timestamp over here. All right, so we got to do a little bit of this. 1, 2, 3, and we got to make sure all of them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah.
One eternity later.
There we go. Woohoo! So yeah, I fucking hated that shit. So believe me when I say this, I'm like not on this dude's side from like a gameplay angle. I think your game is trash. But on the plagiarism side, nah, that's fucked up. But I also don't know why MiHoYo would decide to take a mini game or like an indie game that's actually this bad and put it in their game. They should have put in like a better one. Again, just personal opinion.
I released this in May 2024. And this is Zenless Zone Zero.
Damn, bro, fucking cradle robbers over here at Hoyoverse, man. Gee, damn, that game was only 1 year old.
Where you can play as an anime girl, walk up to a hacking terminal, and play a minigame, where you bend and stretch a loop so the orb can hit the targets in order. This was added 1 year later, in June 2025.
Yep, for 2.x.
It's basically the same game, and there are specific design choices I made that they happen to arrive at too. Like these curve portals, this hint system that shows the right shape, this soft flowing background, and these dotted influence lines.
I mean, basically, yeah, it's a 1-to-1 that's a reskin. Show me what new gameplay element they added that differentiates it at all from Oros. I guess that's the big thing. That's what I would like to see from anyone trying to defend this.
Unordered targets, and this reverse direction control.
Oh, he's doing the... Oh, wait. He's doing the thingy. He's doing the thingy. Brother, they put in the thingy.
This reverse direction control. Because MiHoYo is an established billion-dollar company and Oros isn't well known.
It would be hilarious if the missions were actually the same too. Right? Because as far as I'm concerned, he is making the same shapes as well.
I can see why people would assume that I copied them. But still, it's frustrating to have your work cloned and then credited to somebody else.
The fact he's waited over a year to make this, when he easily could have dropped this during the release of 2.x, while the stuff was still popular, while people were experiencing it firsthand, all of that. I think this just goes to show that the guy isn't doing it for clout. He's not doing it for clout. He's not doing it for, like, recognition. He's not doing it for, like, pity sales or any of that. He's just doing it because he's pissed the fuck off that all of these retarded children keep saying that he copied Hoyoverse, when Hoyoverse is the one that copied him. That's what I have to think when he's been sitting on this for over a fucking year, guys. Or really, not necessarily over a year yet. It's going to be like 10 months. He's been sitting on this for like 10 months.
So I hope this clears things up. I saw some comments recently saying I copied.
I will say, though, this is such a great video to portray his point. This is such a great video to sort of, like, package every single emotion that he's feeling. You can tell that this guy is mad, but he's keeping it, like, very cordial. And at the same time, calling all the people, like, trying to shit-talk him fucking idiots. Which is honestly a great way for him to handle this situation, because I think it's allowed his message, pretty much, like, loud and clear, to reach everybody, not just in the gacha space, but in the mainstream space as a whole. So why don't we go ahead and see what some of the responses are right now from some of these individuals. Ooh, and we got one Hoyo defender ready to go right here. Are you ready for this one, guys? First comment, boom. You sure you didn't copy this game that released in 2023? And then they're showing Primo, right? Which is like, let me just double check this just to make sure that I'm not like, what the fuck is this, bro? Okay, this is like the weirdest link I've ever seen. What the hell even is, bro, what the fuck even is this? The fuck? Here we go. All right. And they're saying, oh, you sure you didn't copy this game? And at first you can be like, oh, wait a second. This does look slightly... I hate this shit. I hate the fuck no. Anyways, you can see it's the same photo, right? So you might be like, oh, wait, no, this guy just copied Primo and then Hoyo copied him. So like, why is he mad? He just copied somebody else, right? This is like the Spider-Man meme. But then Michael Cam over here, he had another one in the chamber. He knew some retarded Hoyo shill was going to say this shit. That's why he didn't mention it. He laid out the trap and then masterfully executed the counter. For all of you mentioning the game Primo, that one looks like a rip of the original Game Jam version I made for this game, Splines and Shapes, which I released in October 2020. Okay, now I gotta go click this one. Let's make sure this one doesn't look weird. Oh shit. Oh shit, no, they copied him again. Oh no, they copied him again, guys. So, no, he made Splines and Shapes in 2020. Oh, I made this in 2020. Then that one came out in 2023, so we copied him. So actually, he's the original author for everything. And then the next response that a Hoyo show can make after every single other argument has been broken down. Say nothing that makes any fucking sense at all. Say some absolute bullshit. There's no proof Mihoyo copied your version, though, right? I'm going to be honest. I really don't think Mihoyo noticed these games. Yeah, guys. What's the proof that Mihoyo copied his version specifically? Yeah, no, this entire segment over here was just, he didn't watch that. Yeah, no, he didn't watch this part. Nah, he didn't watch that part, guys. That was, that part was optional. You only need to watch 30 seconds of the video, and then by, like, the law of averages, you've seen the entire thing. Right? So like
same game.
Who cares if you didn't see that shit? You're allowed to make your own conclusions, right? Guys. This is the first post. This is the first comment, the first reply to his tweet exposing Hoyoverse. It's a retarded Hoyoverse player that's likely the same individual, the same one that left a retarded comment talking about how he plagiarized Hoyo. Like, you could just see how this is like an Ouroboros, right? You can just see how, like, this cycle of just stupidity keeps on going. You call it out. You bring every single receipt. You make a pretty much undeniable, just like a completely indestructible argument, and they'll still disagree with you. That's impressive. Stay safe, bro. The Hoyo dogs are coming after you. If not now, more than ever. You don't own certain game mechanics. You wanna know what the funniest part is? That same argument can be spun around and shown to the exact people that are trying to argue that he plagiarized Hoyoverse. So, he's fucked either way, right? It's either A, Hoyo copied me. The response is then, well, you don't own game mechanics, retard, so, like, why are you complaining? And then the other side is, you copied Hoyo, but then you're not allowed to say Hoyo doesn't own game mechanics, because they're the bigger company. Do you see how this is like a catch-22, regardless of how you interact with this community? No matter what, MiHoYo is always going to be in the right. Now let's read this. Didn't Wuwa make a Vampire Survivors in a Fortress defense mode like Fortnite Save the World? I don't really see a problem. Just look at the comments and the likes on that. The difference between Wuwa's alternative game modes and the ones that you see over here is that this, ladies and gentlemen, is a one-to-one rip. It's a one-to-one rip. There is nothing else you do in ZZZ when it comes to this minigame other than just play this guy's game. ZZZ basically just like in-app opens up another executable during its story and during its exploration, and it makes you play this guy's game. That's just what it is. There's no differentiations at all. The controls, the scheming, the gameplay, everything it is an exact one-to-one rip. There's nothing that Hoyo does besides renaming Oros to Ether Tuning. And believe me, don't worry, I've played this shit myself in ZZZ, so I know firsthand this is all it is. And when a company doesn't even put their own twist, their own flair on it, uniqueness, blah, 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 all of that, and then just ships The same exact product that somebody else has made under a different name, hoping that no one notices. That's the big part, right? Hoping that no one notices. That's some shady fucking behavior, right? And that's also some shady fucking behavior from, well, a company that's done it so many fucking times before on so many different scales, and also the company that makes the most money as a developer in the gacha space. So not only are you rich, you're lazy, and you're also uncreative. Oh, and you also don't take responsibility for stealing other people's shit at the same time. And making no changes. When you copied your friend's homework in school, you at least changed some of the answers, right? And you modified some of the wording so it could be seen as different, right? They didn't do anything. They just copied the homework completely. And the only thing they did was use a different color of pen when writing down the same exact fucking answers, turning in the same fucking essay. And guess what? Unfortunately, the plagiarism checkers are going a little bit crazy. You can see the Hoyo shills, ladies and gentlemen, are trying their fucking hardest. The Hoyo shills are doing their best. Oh, good God. And then somebody just brought up this bad boy again. Remember the whole copying homework thing I just talked about over here? Well, there you go. That was that shit that was in my video from a year ago, boys. Glad it's being brought up again. This company is known for this. This company is literally fucking no. Oh, now they're putting shit of like, oh God, now they're copying Woowa again. It's funny to see one company that just blatantly does complete rips. And it's Hoyo on one side, and then it's almost always Wuthering Waves on the other. Because this is what Woowa is known for when it comes to plagiarism nowadays. Are you ready for this one? This is how Woowa is involved in the conversation. Yeah, you probably know what's going on over here. Yeah, the one at the bottom, Tower of Saviors. Now they just straight up ripped that shit. They ripped that shit, bro. And they ripped that shit so bad, I think you could still see like Hiyuki and stuff in like the mirror frames, or like in the glass ice frames. Yeah, you can still see that there. They literally just AI'd this like random fucking generic Chinese, literally Chinese Wuxia dude over here, and then called it a fucking day. But you want to know what the crazy? I think they put more effort into this than Hoyo put into this. No lie, there might have been more effort put into this one. Because, like, they had to put in a new character design and stuff like that at the very least, right? There had to have been, like, some creative decision put into here. Bro, they just took his game and made it purple. Bro, they just took this guy's game and made it purple. That's the Hoyo way. And you want to know what the most poetic thing about this whole situation is? This happened close to a year ago. And you can see that ZZZ has been on some of the most, on the most diabolical downtrend in gacha history. This patch released around here, around this time frame, I do believe. And the game has just gone downhill in terms of popularity ever since. And if you're interested in knowing what the newest sales are for their newest character, this is what they got. ZZZ, new banner. Breaking revenue. Breaking revenue. Records. For the lowest day one revenue of all time in the history of the game, right before 3.0. So, like, as you can see, like, if you know what these numbers mean, the further you are from one, the worse. And, like, to see it this bad in China is really bad. Yeah, no, they hate this game over there. They hate this game over there. And this is the proof that it is, annual ranking-wise, the 7th worst banner out of 7 this year. The worst banner out of all 7 this year. And then the worst banner out of all 33 ZZZ banners combined. Fucking EOS Light Billy. Bro. EOS Light Billy. Starlight, more like Stoplight Billy, bro. Fucking Stoplight Billy. That's what this shit is. And seeing results like this, knowing how lazy, unmotivated, like low budget, cash grab, just spineless, just irresponsible, like fucking so many adjectives you could use over here. But one thing's clear. This couldn't have come at a better time, because ZZZ right now, bro, it's like that one scene from like JoJo Part 5, where like one of like the gang punching that dude on the ground. You know the scene I'm talking about, right? Where it's like 2 people kicking that dude on the ground at the restaurant. Bro, it's like this dude came in. He was the guy drinking coffee. He looks a little bit and then decides to fucking start joining in too. Because, bro, they already be getting beat up out here. Bro, they already keep getting beat up out here. And now they're getting beat up over here for like a fucking third frontier? Good God, bro. Can this game really... Could this game take a 1.7 million view, 44k like, 4.7k bookmarked, 6.2k retweeted, and 436 commented slander post? But it's not really slander because it's just fact. Can this game take that? Probably not. Now, what last thing I want to do over here is take a look at some of the quote retweets, just for fun, because then you get to see kind of like, okay, are people like on the side of the indie dev, or are they on the side of MiHoYo? Let's see. I feel like I'm going insane reading the quote retweets because I remember playing puzzle games like this years and years before ZZZ when I was a kid. Okay, so it's like, I think he's lying, but I don't have any proof. So that's the first comment over here. The way it's so funny that everything they throw to Woo-Wah comes back to their game as well. Y'all remember when people said Woo-Wah EOS? Y'all remember people said Woo-Wah EOS? You know. There are people attacking the indie game developer. Thanks for the content for videos. Wicked. All right. Oh, I'm sure the billion-dollar company all the way in China, quote-unquote, copied your so well-known game. A little bit of mental asylum. Mental asylum. So that's going to be the sum up of the situation, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see too much of a particular need to dive too much into the hornet's nest over there and then come out with a bunch of diseases. Because, well, let's be honest here. There's only one real side to pick over here, and that is Hoyoverse. Maybe you can actually have a creative bone in your body for once. Maybe you can stop recycling every old character design you've ever had in the history of the game in your newer versions of the game. Because everyone knows ZZZ 3.0 looks like they took every other Hoyo game design, put them all up in a fucking blender, and then told ChatGPT to go spit some shit out. That's what 3.0 looks like. And so knowing that this has kind of been in the back end of their development this entire time across all of YFA Peninsula, and of course probably into Roscalafier, I don't even know how the fuck you pronounce that shit. It's probably going to be in the new 3.0 Bang Boo Aerial City as well. Yeah, just good luck anyone still playing this game, because the fall off here has been almost too demonic to even count, or too demonic to even like fucking really fully recount. But well, excited to see how low it can go. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.